Welcome back guys to another Minecraft podcast. This is part 3 of the Origin update series where we talk about a possible update to early game, which ends when iron is obtained. And although an update to the underground seems to be a higher priority, given how much more appealing the oceans are with their loot and ambience, I maintain that the Origin updates should still come before it, not just because the TikTok cycle would require a relatively small update after 1.13, but because it would provide a foundation for new updates to build upon. As before, the timestamps are in the description if you wish to jump to a specific topic. Apologies in advance for the quality of the sound. We have a few others joining today from other parts of the world. Clocksparrow, a moderator of the subreddit r/Minecraft Suggestions.
Howdy.
Nox, a Minecraft Abnormals moderator and brilliant texture artist.
Hello, I am Nox.
As well as Volcan Vex, who you will recognise from the other episodes.
Saluton.
Additionally, we have Wolftopia in the text chat and will be reading out his suggestions. My name is Cameron, and this podcast will focus on food and farming.
Does anybody think that bread is a little too easy to get?
I would agree. What if we had to grind up the flour at least?
No. I'm thinking do you know how we take sugarcane and we make sugar? I mean, the least we could do is either, and I prefer the second of these, go from wheat to flour, then to bread. So that adds a tiny little step that makes it a little bit more, even... You know what? Never mind. Let's skip that one. Let's just have it so that you take the wheat, you make the bread recipe, but instead of it giving you cooked bread, it gives you bread dough that you have to bake. But see, the thing is, though, first off, it would allow you to bake the bread. So it's actually baked bread because you don't bake bread on the countertop. But second off, you're also giving yourself a raw piece.
It sounds just like it would be boring on its own, but I feel like it adds a touch of immersion, and also it could be extended. So, for example, you could add something that does it all in one to give a sort of progression to food. So you could add an oven, which would serve as both a crafting table and a furnace, and then you could do it all in one like that.
We could have that, but then at the same time...
I like the idea of grinding it into the actual flour and then just making bread from that, because it just seems... Think about it, you just get wheat and you just chuck it together and suddenly, poof, bread. At least it makes somewhat more sense to grind it into flour, you know?
I mean, granted, we do go up to melons and harvest them by breaking them into slices and then put them back together.
I was thinking, what if you just right-clicked the vine with shears, and then it just detaches the melon, and it drops it as an item? You need Silk Touch or crafting the melon slices into a block.
Oh, do you mean how you have to break other crops? So if you just break the melon stem and you get the thing?
That could actually work to make melon and pumpkin farms slightly more realistic, or at least cooler, because you could cut the cord and then it would drop, and then you could put some torches or something underneath to break the block. It would work a lot better than having pistons to have some sort of weird exception just for pumpkins and melons.
I mean, it's not really an exception, because there are other things that break when pushed by pistons.
Yeah, but they're not really solid blocks, are they? Like melons and pumpkins, they're about the only solid blocks.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Jack-o'-lanterns all.
So I think it's good that we can think of little annoying things that could be fixed.
Have you all seen the Dear Jed series?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, well, Dragon014 made a good point about pistons and how, they are inconsistent. Sometimes it will break it, sometimes it will push it, that sort of thing. What do you think about that? Do you think that it should be more convenient?
Definitely, it should be more,
consistent?
Intuitive and consistent. Yeah. So, yeah, I think just adding bits, obviously you can't just, lump it all together and just completely make it consistent from there, because sometimes it doesn't make sense, and sometimes it will break people's farms. So what you do is kind of resolve both the problems, it's inconsistent and we need to still be able to do this, but we resolve with, okay, make it consistent but give an explanation for why it does this. So instead of them dropping like that, you drop them because you cut the stem and it falls onto a torch.
What do you guys think about that? I think there's a mod that allows you to just right-click the crop and it harvests it and it replants it.
I don't like that.
We have something like that where you get.
I think that's a little too easy. I mean, think about it. Doing gardening in general or harvesting stuff, it takes quite a bit of time. Anything like that is just
not really. Like harvesting it is very quick. The long part is like waiting for it to grow.
I mean the whole harvesting then replanting phase.
I mean, it just depends on how you do it, I guess. Because
I mean, have you done gardening lately?
We don't need to make it too realistic, although this does spark an idea I had to make rotten flesh more important as a type of fertilizer. So this could be annoying, but I'm just going to put this out here anyway. If you could add rotten flesh to farmland to give it more nutrients.
I mean,
Oh
like,
yeah, I made a post
like
about that.
That's where I got it from.
I mean, if you said like you could like turn rotten flesh into a leather in some way, I would be down for that. Using it in like a kind of like pseudo bone meal, I don't really see that. Nah.
They're both organic matter.
I made a suggestion for bat guano.
Oh, yes.
Basically, this
They
idea would.
They already
Wait,
said
what?
that they would never add poop.
That's toilets,
yeah.
not poop. Only toilets. Poop is okay. Well, I mean, they haven't explicitly said. Have they?
They literally said that they would never add excrement, which I think is stupid because you can make manure and then grow things that you imagine making a manure block that could grow things twice as far away from a water source block than normal. That'd be brilliant, but no.
Dad, you seem to be salty about this.
Hey, manure is very vital.
Well,
stuff
what if
for
like we
farming.
had like bat caves, right? You know how before we were talking about how we should have like different types of caves. In like a bat cave, like the floor will be covered like a poop block or something like that.
It would be like it'd be like a carpet block sort of model.
Yes, sort of like
kind
a
of like
carpet block. And,
oh
like,
no.
When you break the carpet block, you get it's like the snow thing. How like when you break the snow layer, it would actually be. I'd say it'd be like the layers, like the snow layers actually.
Oh, speaking of which, I was talking about diorite.
It'd be like mycelium, but in a cave.
Or it could be like diorite, because I was talking to people about the igneous rocks added in 1.8. I'm like, what's the use of them? They literally just make caves look uglier. And they're like, oh, well, I mean, diorite can be used to look like bird poop. I'm like, really? So when Jeb was adding this, he was like, oh, okay, let's add 3 new rocks. You see, this can be used for bird poop. That's why we're adding it.
I mean,
it looks like dirty
weird
snow.
Obsession with poop.
I mean,
hey, I wasn't the one who started this.
That just means they need to make a better texture.
Well, I mean, that's already happening with Jappa's textures, so I think we're good in that department. But back on track.
Debatable.
You know what? Can I just make a quick point here? Like, I find it really annoying how you have a lot of people who are like, you know, just for the nostalgia of it, like they don't really appreciate the Jappa work. You know, the work that Jappa has been doing to make the game actually look good, and some people are so, how do I say this, unappreciative.
Well, no, not necessarily. Some people just have a different aesthetic appeal.
Well, I mean, I'm the type of person to like use the default one because default always looks better than resource packs usually, unless it's made by me, of course.
I don't know.
There's a term for Minecraft's current textures, and that's programmer art, I think.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's like the placeholder stuff before they get an actual artist to make it, right?
Yeah. Right. Hey, there's an aesthetic appeal to that as well. It's not necessarily.
But yes, they should replace the classic Minecraft textures. The classic Minecraft textures are like, how do I say this? They're bad.
Okay.
I mean, look at the creeper texture. Like, nobody in their right mind, especially anyone who's actually dealt with like textures, can say that the creeper texture is good. It is horrible, and it should be replaced. It doesn't matter how I
yeah. I made a creeper texture that actually has a color palette, and it looks the
same. Me too.
As the regular.
You did too?
Oh,
that's great.
Yeah.
Yay.
Me too.
Creeper camouflage bros.
Well, no, mine didn't. It wasn't colorized to blend in with the foliage or anything. It looks the same, because that was the issue that Jappa was talking about. They're not going to change the texture because it's too iconic, and I think he's referring to the color. So what I did is I made the texture, used all of the same colors as the original texture, except it's just uniform and that there's no noise at all. There aren't thousands of colors. It's just like 7,
little
I think.
tiny white dots.
the problem with creepers being seen as iconic is like the first thing that comes to people's minds when they hear Minecraft is usually a creeper. And like if you're trying to make the argument that but what about the plushie toys? How are they going to sell those? But I mean, like most creeper plushie toys and other paraphernalia, it's usually just green. It's
not the right green.
It's just green,
Yeah,
so there's nothing wrong with like
they
changing
have,
the
like-
texture or the color slightly.
Right.
They usually only just have like 1 or 2 actual pixels of it. Like the most iconic thing about a creeper is like really its shape and like its face, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I would say so.
There's nothing iconic about it except for like that little face thing it has and like the actual shape.
And the fact that the model
of
was
it.
a complete mistake.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say.
I think I could use this point to trail into a couple of ideas that we've had for creeper variants. I had one for a desert that's called the Scrambler, and it's supposed to camouflage in with sand. And instead of blowing up, it creates a big sand, like a little mini localized sandstorm around it, similar to how lingering potions look, but they're a lot more thick. So if a mob walks into it, it will essentially be blinded.
Nice. Oh, actually, that'd be a good idea since the blindness effect isn't really used in game.
Wolftopia
If
here
only you
says
could-
about a cactus creeper. It would be cool if there was a type of mob that could camouflage as a cactus. That would actually be rather interesting. Either that or
What about a tree?
a treeper.
Yeah.
What about
No. A
what
tree.
about a
It's like
cactus tree?
What?
What about a cactus tree creeper
I think
that
we're
has a
going
lily
to-
pad on its head?
Let's just go ahead and make it a spider and a skeleton and a zombie all at the same time.
Wolftopia here has said it shoots thorns when it explodes, like how skeletons used to send out arrows on death. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, like, if you're going to add creeper variants, the iconic attack, or more like the only attack that creepers have is that they explode. But if you just add more creepers that just explode, or maybe like explode with fire, or explode and put water there, like a certain creeper additions mod that I am reluctant to name, if they did different things upon death. So yeah, one of them creates a sandstorm like my Scrambler, and the cactus creeper shoots thorns.
You know,
And I
entertaining
had-
you mentioned cactus creepers and shooting thorns and stuff, and then there's the talk about the tree. There's actually a tree in the southern hemisphere of the Americas that is known as the sandbox tree, which is actually covered in thorns that apparently are poisonous. These are seeds on the bark of the
It
tree.
looks kind of
that-
like a pumpkin.
Yeah, except the seeds, these things, explode off of the tree. The way they replant is they explode the seeds off the tree. They shoot it, like what I read is like 100 miles an hour. So it's a tree that shoots thorn seeds off of it at 100 miles an hour.
Oh, you know the Mobestory? The Minecraft like mobs official mod guide? Yeah, they actually said that in like the speculation about what a creeper's made of, they suspect that it's a plant that does that. It spreads its DNA by exploding.
It spreads spores like a fungi.
Well, I mean, they don't have to be fungi.
No, I said like
It's some
a
sort of-
fungi.
Yeah, but
It's some sort of-
Sphagnum moss.
Do you think like whole hunger system itself needs an overhaul, and like how we like make foods and like how we eat foods and stuff? Because personally, I feel like it's a bit cookie cutter right now, because like almost every food, with the exception of dried kelp, has like the exact same eating time.
well, yeah, I think kelp was a good start, and also people did complain about the hunger system, how it's like really slow to get food. In fact, in that video that you linked, Knox, I think they mentioned it, how even though you're at full hunger and it just goes up really, really slowly, versus nowadays when you eat a food, like if you eat a steak and you go up to full health, it goes blip, 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 and your hearts go up pretty quickly for a while. I like that. They should build more on that.
I was thinking of regenerative speeds, but I think the different foods already do that.
Do they?
Yeah, different foods have like different saturation, and it's like the more saturation it is, it's like more hearts you will get.
Yeah,
It's
but
weird.
saturation used to only be for the amount of time before your hunger would go down, but now it gives you a boost in hearts.
This was the thing I posted a while back about saturation.
Do you want to read it out? Or like give us the general
Yeah.
idea?
I can read it out loud.
Yeah, well, this is for YouTube,
Give
so...
us the general idea.
It's like thirst, but it's not required.
Not required. So how's it?
And let me just read it. It'd be so much easier.
All right, fair enough.
Saturation, or more widely known as thirst, is a new concept that would give taking drinks more wide implication. Unlike the hunger bar and health bar, though, it's not mandatory for survival, but it does help out a lot. It would appear as a blue border around the drumstick and would gradually fill the whole border of the bar. What this would do is essentially halt the decrease of hunger bar for as long as the border is blue. The downside is it depletes quickly and has no special beneficial effects for itself. The plus side is that it would allow you to exert yourself longer, eat less, prolong yourself from starvation, and give drinks a reason to be added. It would basically prolong your hunger for however long it normally would at full, but at whatever level it's at.
So technically, you could just go through the entire game without eating food as long as you just keep your saturation topped up.
Basically, but the problem is it's really hard to do because you would have to be stopping for drinks, and that would nobody would really do.
Yeah, I see what you mean. In fact, I had a suggestion a while ago, although it kind of tied in with the idea that with the addition of phantoms, there's even less reason to go out during the night in the first couple nights of your Minecraft journey. So I actually had an idea for dewdrops, and they'd spawn around, they'd be like particles, and they'd spawn in tall grass away from light, and then you pick it up with a bowl, and then you drink it, and it gives you a little saturation boost.
Can I just quickly say something? Bit of a fun fact thing. So I recently found out that the piece of meat, like the meat that is depicted in the hunger bar, apparently that is actually called haunches. It's supposed to be like the thigh of an animal or something.
I just call it
Yeah,
the cut of meat.
Isn't it?
or you could call it a dinner bone.
It's so funny, Cameron. It's so funny.
You're so funny, Cameron.
Do you think Dinnerbone would be happy with that?
I don't know if he'd embrace it or not, unless there was a resource pack that made the Dinnerbone icons turn upside down. Let's have a look at the suggestion that Wolftopia's posted. His said, the hunger system as of now is completely unbalanced. Steak, pork, bread, and golden carrots, if you're rich, are objectively the best foods. This is a problem because there are 19 separate food items in Minecraft, excluding the golden food and uncooked food, and kelp because he posted this on August 8th, 2017. The hunger bar also provides no extra challenge to the game except sometimes on the first day. Food is very easy to get. Hence, I propose some changes and additions to the hunger system.
Wait, does rotten flesh count as a food item?
I do. I eat it
agree
all the
with a lot
time.
of this. I agree with all of this. Food is too
Wait,
easy.
Cameron, you eat
and
yourself?
Too easy to get done.
You eat yourself?
Well, technically zombies haven't been confirmed to be variations on the player or other players. Technically, though, you could be eating villager flesh if you eat a zombie villager's rotten flesh, although it's not a different item to normal rotten flesh.
I made a data pack that allows villagers to drop flesh called villager flesh, and it's basically a slightly retextured rotten flesh. I mean, it's up to you whether or not you want to eat it, but hey,
Well,
I
actually,
mean, desperate times calls for desperate measures.
he said, give pigs back their usefulness, so make them drop more meat, or make...
Drop leather.
So basically, cows drop both the leather and steak. The chances of them dropping leather swaps with the chance of them dropping meat, which means that there's more leather and less steak. So if you want lots of food, you go and kill a pig. But if you want leather, you kill a cow and then you get a little bit of food as a bonus. Either that, or you could have pigs have multiple offspring at once. And yeah, that makes sense in real life as well. It doesn't have to, but it gives a little, I mean, it kind of makes it
Yeah,
slightly
wasn't that
more
one of
credible.
the Simply Sark suggestions?
Possibly.
Yeah, I think it was. At the same time, another question is, why is it that we can find these basic core farm animals in every biome?
Yeah, that's another good question.
Yeah.
Why?
Shouldn't there be
We should
a
have more
separation?
farm animals in different biomes.
I mean, maybe they could only spawn in plains biomes or something, so you actually have to go somewhere. Because,
What?
animals in lakes and rivers and animals on top of trees.
Actually, wasn't there a mob? There was a mod, right, that made you spawn wild boars and stuff, and you had to, tame them to get pigs and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that could work. That's nice. It's after an apocalypse where farm animals escaped Wolftopia. Is that a reference to Animal Farm? Maybe the entire Minecraft world is just Animal Farm.
Another thing about that, why is it that when we hit one animal, the rest are just like, yeah, whatever?
Yes,
They should freak out.
they should cause
all of them.
stampedes.
Another
Yeah, exactly.
Simply Sark suggestion.
Oh, well, I guess
They
we're
should
just
all
kind of
freak
ripping
out.
off him at this point without even realizing it.
Come on, Cam, you're better than this.
So I like other ideas of making farm animals slightly more wild in the jungle, because like, you know, the actual reason why we have just these random farm animals is because they're the first ones, like they're really old, so they weren't thinking thinking too big. I mean, Notch wasn't really thinking big because he didn't expect the game to get too big, and that's why we've got all this bad code.
First you rip off Simply Suck, now you're ripping off me, damn.
Hey, I just agree with you. I'm spreading your message.
If it helps get it in the game, does it really matter?
Yes, Vex wants his name. It's like in the credits of Minecraft, and it's like, added this tiny minuscule suggestion, Volcan Vex.
I want to be the guy who suggested Melonade and got it in the game.
I mean, well, with turtles being memed into Minecraft, it is possible, though it does set a rather dangerous precedent.
I mean, think about it. We don't have lemons, but we have melons. We could have Melonade, which is like a dyslexic version of lemonade. But it could work.
I have an idea and question and proposal all in one.
Wow. Product.
Without the implementation of food decay, how do you give use to salt?
I kind of like the idea of food decay, though.
I feel
I
like
do too.
Nobody
It
else
would just be
does.
food durability.
I feel like it'd just be boring
but like-
micromanaging. Boring micromanaging.
But it would also be like, if you live in a cold biome, then your food decay is halved. And so it would actually give benefits depending on where you live.
You know what? I think we should have like these thirst bars and like
Emerald armor.
like
Don't forget
temperature
emerald
bars.
armor.
No, not emerald armor, but like we
Emerald
should have
tools
things
then.
like-
How about emerald tools?
Cameron, shut
Emerald
your face.
compass.
Okay, so we have like things like the thirst bar and like the temperature bar, but like not as like a extreme part of it, but more as like instead of nerfing the player, it buffs the player. The absolute worst would be your normal stats, right? But you can get like much faster and much better if you play along. Do you know what I mean? Like instead of being a nerf, it's actually a buff.
Yeah, I mean, buffs always feel much better. Like, everyone getting angry about the golden apple recipe, even to this day, because my post on Shitty Minecraft suggestions about what charge creepers blowing up oak leaves, dropping golden apples, it got cross-posted to Minecraft suggestions and got over 100 upvotes. People want a way to get renewable notch apples that bad that they're prepared to go to a shitty Minecraft suggestion.
I can like see why they took away the recipe because that was extremely OP.
I think back in 1.3, you could craft notch apples by surrounding an apple with golden nuggets.
I thought that was just a normal apple, and then notch apples with golden ingots.
Yeah, that was it.
I'm gonna look through the history on the wiki to see.
Well, I mean, they could always add like the condensed blocks that you find in some mods, and then you like craft it with like a golden apple surrounded by quadruple condensed golden blocks.
Well, that's just like those mods that add a way to craft diamonds by like getting 1,000,000 coal, or like, craft 9 coal into coal block, craft 9 coal blocks into a coal chunk, craft 9 coal chunks into a coal super concentrated block, and then 9 of those, you get a diamond.
No, I can understand like turning coal into diamonds, but like...
What about turning diamonds into coal? Big thonk.
Well, I don't actually think you'd be able to do that. I don't know. I'd have to research into that. But like, I think it's a good idea to be able to turn the diamonds the coal into the diamonds. But like, you know,
Right, Vex, you're disowned.
no, but think about it. Like, it'd be a great thing, especially now that they're adding like the education edition stuff like into Bedrock. They might as well like have some of these things that people can learn that diamonds is made of carbon. Coal is made from carbon.
And a lot
carbon
of impurities.
Yes, that is true. A lot.
And greenhouse gases are made from carbon, so therefore we need to remove all.
Yes. Yes.
Let's just meme the worst global issues. Shall we just turn them all into memes?
Yes.
Here's the wiki page on the golden apple. In 1.1, golden apples were changed so that they restore 2 haunches, and they only gave 4 seconds of regeneration. The recipe was also modified, requiring 8 gold nuggets instead of 8 blocks of gold.
What?
And that yielded a notch apple, and you would find the regular golden apples in chests. The regular golden apples were less common than notch apples.
You know what? That's actually a pretty good suggestion. That might simplify mob grinders.
That was just completely uncalled for, Vex. Sorry, I'm just disappointed at this point.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
When a pun or an execution of a joke is just so bad, I'm just like not even
Well,
laugh or
you-
groan. I'm just like, nope, get out.
You got that disappointed father there.
So without food decay, salt could be combined with raw food to essentially make it into a jerky
Jerky.
of sorts. So you could basically cook with crafting, but it's just not as good as cooked food. And then
Well,
you
what
can
about
season
that,
cooked food with salt, and it gets even better. And then salt can then just be used in crafting recipes for different soups.
What about that
And
zombie
all that.
jerky idea? Like you can turn
Oh.
rotten flesh into jerky, so you can actually eat it.
That
We
could
need
be
more raw
interesting. Yeah, I mean, salt has been used to cure foods for ages. In fact, the reason that we had bacon in the morning, I'm told, is because we were able to cure pork, but we weren't able to cure chicken or beef at the time. So that's why we'd have chicken and beef for dinner versus pork in the morning, because we could cure it and it could just stay
Get
overnight.
some pork on your fork.
Instead of killing a cow at like 4 a.m. in the morning and serving it up, you just, pull out some dead pig that's been cured.
No, you don't kill the pig. You just take off a fillet and then let it go back into the pen.
You just put the grinder on it, you know? Do you remember that one mod? Where like you attach a fan blade?
Just saw a leg off and just let the pig grow it back or something.
Doctors hate him. There's quite a few things we could have a little bit like variation for, especially with foods. I personally think that we should have more raw foods, but there we can also have things. I personally think that we should also have drinks, not just food, but drinks, and you can get a small amount of saturation from it.
How about we get a
Right.
soda pop?
No. So maybe
about
you
apple
could
juice?
like hunt animals and then that would be a food. And then like gathering stuff like carrots and things, you could or apples and potatoes. Well, potato juice, maybe not. But yeah, all the fruits and
Potato
vegetables
juice
you
gives
could.
me nausea.
Wait, you can make juice out of potatoes?
I think.
Yeah, it's called vodka.
Yeah.
beer in Minecraft, please, Jib.
No. It's not beer. It's called a potion of nausea,
Oh yes, you got the right idea.
and it's brewed with poisoned potato.
You can get nausea from pufferfish, and that might be a reference to fugu. You know, the one where they don't cut it properly and then you die.
Right.
Sounds
Fugu.
like some sort of a Japanese thing.
Yeah, fugu. Huh. I studied Japanese in high school. I know how to
You know
pronounce that
what?
fu.
They should add rice. Okay, now that we have kelp, they should add rice. So you can like craft some kelp with some rice, with some pufferfish, and you get some sushi.
Why pufferfish?
Oh, you could do like the salmon skin instead of like the kelp. That could
Yeah,
work.
and it could be raw stuff. So yeah, I think they said they wouldn't add sushi for 1.13. Helen had a long list that I featured in another video. What could replace a
Yeah.
shark in Update Aquatic? They said they
Yeah.
they considered sushi, but like it would be great because like rice, it's traditionally grown in
Yeah.
paddy fields, and yeah, with waterlogged behavior, that would be a breeze. Well, compared to
Okay, so like rice is grown in paddy fields, right?
Right.
So is that where you get all the hamburgers? Yeah, they grow hamburgers.
Oh, I get it.
what about icebergs?
That's so bad.
Iceburgers.
What about iceberg lettuce?
That's dumb.
Ooh. Yeah, that because like they shouldn't put iceberg lettuce in like a frozen biome just for the puns.
Oh yes.
Just for the puns, which is like
Yes.
50% of Minecraft suggestions.
Yeah.
Sorry, clock spiral. Make some foods take longer to eat than others, and yeah, that's with kelp.
Yes.
What group of foods
Yes.
would you make easier to eat? I'd probably say
Apples.
apples
Yes.
and other vegetables. I'd say
You know what? They should have coconuts.
yes, and you can use them for
They could
bowling.
add a lot of things. One of the things we also need is Oriental biome.
Yes, like sakura
have
forests
no-
and things.
Not rice paddies, rice fields. You have villages that have rice paddies,
Would they
but you
look
have
Asian?
rice fields of wild rice.
Oh yeah, that would be nice. It would be a good way to
And then
obtain
you
it
also have-
instead of breaking tall grass.
Or
Yeah,
how about you
and-
just have like the rice fields, and then sometimes a village can spawn in it, and like the villagers will have like the hats thing, and they'll have a basket on their back, and they're just there harvesting
Yes.
rice.
Well, as before, we just keep on chattering, so I'll split it into 2 videos and end this one here. If you enjoyed this, let us know by leaving a like. The second half will focus more on agriculture, as well as island progression. That should be up within a day of this one. If that interests you, subscribe and hit the bell. You can even take part in one of these sessions by joining our Discord server. We also have a subreddit for submitting suggestions and a Twitter page. Until next time, stay abnormal.